This is the Almost Timely newsletter for the week of March 20th, 2022. Mouthful there. What's on my mind this week? Everybody sleeping on Google Analytics 4. This past week, Google let everyone know that as of July 1st, 2023, the older Google Analytics, Universal Analytics or Google Analytics 3, would be retired and would stop collecting data. You can find a link to our write-up on this in the newsletter. It's the first link in the article. This announcement, with a due date more than 15 months into the future, seemed to catch people by surprise. And I'm not sure why. Two reasons that I can think of that come to mind. First, we've had the new Google Analytics 4 in some form for 3 years now. Doesn't seem like it, right? It was Web plus App for about 18 months and then officially rolled out in October of 2020 as Google Analytics 4. Now, granted, at the time it went into production, it still had many rough edges. A bunch of things were not available. I remember back then, like Source Medium wasn't available when you were trying to put together a report. But over time, many of those really rough edges have been smoothed down. However, pandemic time being what it was, it's still not surprising that we lost sight of how long ago the product was rolled out. And sometimes it still feels like it's March 2020, right? So that's reason number one. Reason number two, Google Analytics 4 is a major head shift for people. The events model is one that has gotten people mentally kind of wrapped up. And more important, previously, Google Analytics really was sort of more or less one-stop shopping, right? It did a lot of things and not necessarily any one thing especially well. You set up everything in it. You rolled it out and then you reported on stuff, things from inside of it. And Google made clear from the beginning that the best practices now is to use a combination of three tools that aim to be the best at their specializations. So configuration and control is handled substantially in Google Analytics 4 by Google Tag Manager. Data ingestion, processing, and analysis, true analysis, is handled by Google Analytics 4. Google has designed the tool really to be a business intelligence tool. That's what it's designed to be. Reporting, which is what a lot of people use Google Analytics for, isn't done there anymore. Reporting is handled in Google Data Studio, and that is the intended design. Now, none of this is a secret, right? Google's made clear that this design intent has been the goal for a number of years now, really ever since the rollout of Data Studio. But because it's a major change, a lot of people have slept on it. Now, this is partially compounded by the fact that for the last 18 months, there really wasn't a compelling reason, no external motivation to move off of Google Analytics 3, right? It was working as well as ever. Why spend time and effort on something that isn't broken? Well, yeah. So we slept on it because there was no compelling reason to switch, and we lost track of the time. Understandable. Now what? Now it's time to begin migrating. It is time to wake up and realize that in 2 years from today, from the day you're watching this, our legacy Google Analytics data might not even be available. So the sooner we make the switch, the better. The sooner we have data in Google Analytics 4, the sooner we'll be able to do things like year-over-year analysis and reporting. Because when you switch to GA4, your existing data does not go with you. Really, really important point. When you turn on Google Analytics 4, it's a brand new account. It is day one. So the sooner you turn it on, the sooner you have data. Some folks will be especially fortunate, right? If you got Google Analytics 4 up and running beforehand, you've got back data from the day you turned it on. For a lot of my clients, we installed it and just say, hey, we're just going to turn this thing on for you. And looking back now, that was really fortunate that we just kind of did it for them because now they have 18 months of back data. Whereas a lot of folks who are making the switch now are like, oh, so our data starts in 2022. Like, yep. So I've got a short list of steps that you should take to begin preparing for migration. Go follow it. Link in the newsletter. As a general outline, get started today. I would add this. The day you get GA4 on your website and collecting data is day one of what will eventually be your year-over-year reporting that you'll be able to do in a year's time. So this is your wake-up call. Don't wait. If you can, like if you're at an organization where there's a lot of red tape and bureaucraties and 14 meetings, to decide what flavor of donuts to have at the next meeting, install it anyway, right? Don't worry about getting it right or getting it configured, because you're not going to be taking anything away from anybody. So sneak through and get GA4 installed as quickly as possible. And then you can have deliberations about how to format it and set up goals and all that stuff. But just get the data in there starting today if you haven't already. Don't sleep on it. So if you need help with your migration, my company Trust Insights does that. Shameless plug. We're happy to help. I'll put a link in the newsletter for that services page. What else is in the newsletter this week? As if that wasn't enough. We got some blog posts about time versus money, getting rid of bad customers, and some questions answered this week. Making a case for AI and marketing. Someone was asking about freedom of speech on Twitter. There isn't any. It's a private corporation. And guidance for new social media marketers. Plus, the TikTok paper that came out last week. If you want to get your copy of it, still available, go to trustinsights.ai/TikTok for that paper. And my new social media ROI course that came out with Agorapulse this week for social media marketing world. That's still available. It's still free for now. It's going to be $4.97 at some point once they turn the dial. I don't know when it's going to happen, but at that point it will not be free anymore. You can get that at ProveSocialROI.com. New jobs this week. You have a marketing operations manager at FlowHub, when we still have positions open at Salesforce, Musicasa, Analytica, and RIA Group. So check that out. In the news this week, some Instagram brand data stuff. We have some new approaches to social media marketing, content repurposing, costs that impact your SEO, ROI. I should actually do a thing on that at some point. Neurosymbolic AI bringing us closer to machines with common sense. That's another surprise that we've known about that for a while. Not sure why people are writing articles about it nowadays, but there you have it. And Google announcing that just because you use Google Analytics 4 will not give you a ranking boost in your website. I don't know why people would think that would be the case. For ads this week, we have the B2B Marketing Analytics webinar replay, the Trust Insights newsletter, and of course, if you've got a few extra dollars or cryptocurrencies or, well, frankly, anything laying around, please do support the Ukraine Humanitarian Fund. You can find the link in the newsletter for that. Donations and contributions are desperately needed to help folks with the ongoing side effects of the Russian invasion. Events coming up, Marketing Profs B2B Forum in April, which is next month. We'll be speaking there about content marketing analytics. The MarTech Conference in June 2022. We'll be doing an attribution workshop at that event. Actually, MarTech, I think, is at the end of this month, but the workshops are in a couple of months. The MACON, the Marketing AI Conference, that will be in August of 2022 in Cleveland, so I'll see you there for that. And Marketing Profs B2B Forum in October 2022 here in Boston, physical event. So excited to see some folks in meet space, as it were. That's all for this week. If you got questions, please hit me up. There's contact links in the newsletter. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.